What's going on, you beautiful people of YouTube? We're back again with some more of Wait, hold on. This isn't Infinite Warfare. What is this? What am I looking at? This is Modern Warfare Remastered, bitches. What's going on, guys? So today I decided to do a little bit more of a community kind of based video. I realized that Infinite Warfare hasn't really had much of a full criticism or actual like straight up criticism videos from what I've seen. People tend to just kind of hop on the hate train with the whole jetpack thing, saying they don't like the game simply because of jetpacks. And to me, I understand that fully. I completely and totally understand that the point of jetpacks kind of made the game a little bit more boring. I personally have had no issue with the jetpacks. It doesn't make it harder for me to aim, at least if I'm not using a sniper. I decided to go into Infinite Warfare based on my personal experiences and some of the experiences that I've kind of gathered together by asking people in-game in Infinite Warfare. So one of the main issues that I feel like people complain about this game is overall just the servers. From what I've heard in the community anyways, that Infinite Warfare doesn't have peer-to-peer servers. No, it doesn't have dedicated servers. That's what I've heard, and I don't entirely know what that means. I'm not much of a server guy, but they said that Treyarch has dedicated servers. That's the only reason why it's not much of a lag issue with Black Ops 3. I never had much of an issue with Black Ops 3, but that would explain why I get kicked out of games simply because the host has I have a shitty connection as a host or something. You guys have seen it before on my little rant every single time I get kicked out of those fucking games. It's really fucking annoying. But that was one of the things the community completely bitched about and completely whined about, and I totally understand that frustration. The servers on its own are super irritating to kind of get along with. The game on its own, I feel like the game has some super unstable servers, and I understand that it's, you know, this has only been like a month almost since the launch of Infinite Warfare, but it's like, I mean, come on, man. The servers can't be, it's just the servers on its own are just honestly a little bit disappointing, and it just kind of makes the game a little less funner, or a lot less fun for people that actually want to play the game, that actually want to have a very positive feedback about it, or at least try to have a positive feedback on the game. But the thing is with Infinite Warfare is that with the servers being complete shit on a game that was already underhyped and not wanted, it just made it threw off a lot more players than already the hating fan base. Now, one of the next issues about the servers is that I've personally run into it. The game just becomes super irresponsive to your commands on your keyboard when you have another tab open, or overall if you're just lagging. It just makes your keys like lag almost. Like you could push the W key and well, of course, it's gonna take like an hour for the person to walk forward, and I've run into this issue so many times. It's honestly ridiculous. I could be listening to music, just trying to relax, have a good time, you know, playing this game, but with me having iTunes open, it just fucks with my mouse. Like it fucks with my keyboard and my mouse. Like my movement is super delayed, super lagged out. It overall just makes the game super hard to just play and overall just have a good time. And that sort of irritates me, because I try to have a good fun time with this game. I try to genuinely have some fun with this game, because I don't want to look at this game and be like, I hate it too soon, because, you know, it is a month after the launch. I don't want to do that. One of the next biggest issues, obviously keep in mind that the things that I'm going to be talking about here are strictly for PC players. I don't know entirely what the Xbox and PS4 community has to say about this game. Maybe the service issues is one of them, but the other kind of issues are more based off PC players. Now, another one of the things the community kind of disliked about Infinite Warfare was the sensitivity the way that they chose to lay out the sensitivity for our mouses. In previous CODs, we had numbers, right? We had 1.01, 1.02, so on until it reached to 10. That gave us a lot of diversity with the game. You know, with being able to pick out, you know, certain sensitivities that made us comfortable with the game. Like, you know, that gave us diversity to be able to choose sensitivities that weren't fucking us over. Because I know a lot of people that said that 3 was too low and 4 was too high, so it gave them a chance to go in between that, like a 3.5. You get me? And that's good. That's what Black Ops 3 did. And honest to God, I loved it. I ran a 2.6 sensitivity on that game, and it was beautiful. I loved the way they chose to choose our sensitivity for us, and it was amazing. But with this game, it doesn't give us numbers. It literally just gives us a bar. I don't know how to choose the sensitivity if the only thing I have to go on is a bar. And the thing is, it doesn't let us like slowly move up the bar. It gives us like a skipped, almost like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But we want to go in the middle, because if I go to 2, it's too high, it's too low. If I go to 3, it's too high. It's want to be able to be in the 2.5 area. I can do that if I you know, move the bar with my mouse and just move it halfway. I can do that, but the thing is, I don't know how to adjust it, because I don't know, maybe it's a little too fast, maybe it's a little too slow. I want to be able to perfectly adjust the sensitivity to just my liking, and I can't do that if all I have to go on is a bar. A black bar. Now I know the obvious statement is gonna be like, well, just, you know, go into game and adjust it, but I can't. I don't know how. It's a bar. If I move it down, I want to be able to know how much I moved it down and how much I moved it up. I don't want to have to be like, okay, is this bar lined up with this bar? Okay, and that, yeah. It just doesn't make sense to do that. That's just super inconvenient for us PC players. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Why would you just give us a bar and not numbers? That doesn't make any sense to me. Why? Besides the issues of the sensitivity and all that, the settings on its own were completely fucked almost. I don't know, a lot of PC players tend to like kind of rely on really good graphics. That's the reason PC is very popular, simply because the graphics on PC are a lot better than Xbox or PS4. And that's not throwing shade, I'm just saying, you know, we tend to run higher graphic settings on our, you know, rigs. The settings in the game though, people tend to not like it. People say that the game just runs super unsmooth. It just feels really like I don't know, chippy. The game doesn't look as smooth as Black Ops 3. It doesn't have as much color. They tend to confuse enemies between teammates, and I feel like that's more of a thing that they're gonna get used to, but it's just inconvenient. It just doesn't make sense for a game to have really shady graphics and just look overall dead. Like, it reminds us a lot of Ghost, and that's not a good thing for Infinity Ward to do. They should have realized that Ghost was a piece of shit game for us. We didn't like it, and they basically gave us a copy and paste of it, but with jetpacks, and that only made it worse. Now, aside from, you know, the settings and all that, I wanted to go into a deeper, more in look to the game. The weapons. Now, Xbox players tend to say that they have no issue with the weapons. Maybe they could use a few nerfs on the K-bar, the NV4, or the UMP. But for us PC players, we're more accurate. So the thing with the weapons is that weapons like the Type 2 become super fucking broken. And the Hornet dual wield, it gives akimbo pistols so much chance to just become broken as holy hell. Especially the last variant of the Type 2, the Butcher. It becomes dual wield shotguns. It's pretty much like a striker times 2. Like it's not good. Like the weapon variants on its own are just complete and utter crap. I don't know why they brought it back. I really don't know. People didn't like the weapon variants because it just made broken weapons even more broken. I'm trying to justify their way of thinking. Hopefully I get it right. Hopefully I'm wrong. Maybe I sound like an idiot. Maybe I sound like I know what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to understand the company's reasons for doing things that are just super inconvenient, that almost feels like they half-assed it almost. Like they threw in these little details that showed that they didn't give a fuck, or that they just overall didn't care enough to really make it a little bit more inconvenient. Like with the sensitivity, like I don't get it. Why did they just like decide, okay, just put in the bar? Yeah, like how are we supposed to adjust our sensitivity if all we have going is a black line? Like that just makes no sense. Enough of that, let's just go back to the weapons. So the thing with PC players is that the weapons in this game tend to be a little bit more broken than Xbox or PS4 games, typically because the Haymaker, for example, the Haymaker in PS4 and Xbox was known as the hit marker, you know, or the hit marker machine. Like it just never killed anything. But in PC, that thing was a broken piece of shit weapon. it overall just made the game a lot more unfun to play with a Haymaker in the room, because it was more accurate, and well, with all the jumping and how good our maneuvering is and how good our aim is, it made the gun a little bit more OP than what it should be. And that's the case with this game, with the Type 2, with the Hornets dual wield, with the K-bar even. And they made ARs in this game just seem overall so much superior than SMGs. It just doesn't make sense. Like, they don't have a well-balanced man. SMGs in this game are essentially pretty much useless. It just doesn't make sense to even put an SMG in any of my class setups. I run the UMP because I love the UMP. It's a 4-shot kill, but I'm going to be outgunned by a K-bar or pretty much anything else 9 out of the 10 times. At least if they have, you know, decent enough gun skill. They're gonna outgun me a lot more than what they usually do in Black Ops 3. Like, I could outgun, you know, if I was using the VMP in Black Ops 3, I could outgun a Man of War even. The person on the other team didn't have a fucking chance in hell to beat me. Like, if that person just had potato aim and was using a Man of War, he could kill me, but more likely than not, I would kill him. Simply because I have better aim, I have more experience. But with this game, it's like, it gives players that are new to the whole franchise in general just an opportunity to just be able to do dominant. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. This game is totally noob friendly, but it doesn't promote a very skill based community. It just overall promotes people to spray and overall camp, because of course with the time to kill in this game being ridiculous, way too fast, because of course our accuracy and our maneuvering is way better than a typical Xbox controller or a PS4 controller. So of course our time to kill is going to be just a little bit more faster than Xbox or PS4. And PC, if people see that they're dying too quick, and the last resort they're gonna have is camp. It's the only way that they're gonna be able to survive long enough to go on these high streaks like they want to, like to be able to boost their KDs or anything. Because the community overall is a very competitive community. Everyone's looking to boost their KDs unless you really don't give a solid fuck. They're always looking for ways to at least get high streaks or to be able to go on high streaks, and everyone loves that. Who doesn't love that? Everyone loves being able to go on high streaks. But with this game being able to promote a very unskilled community, it forces people to be able to sit in corners all game and pretty much overall force people to use Type 2s and spray as much as possible. But of course, these players are already coming in here and they're dropping high numbers because they see that the Type 2 has become an overpowered piece of shit weapon. Obviously, they're going to use a Type 2. If it's broken, people are going to use it. Just a simple equation with Call of Duty. If it's broken, people are going to use it. But again, that goes back to the whole weapon balance. The weapon balance in this game it just seems like super like a black and white area. There is no gray area in between. It just seems like ARs are dominant, SMGs are just horrible. LMGs in some cases are okay. With how fast paced this game is, like, it doesn't give people a lot more chances to use LMGs or to be able to, you know, sit back and support their teammates like I would in Black Ops 3. Because in Black Ops 3 I have a video of that. I have a video of me using the Dinger, you know. That Dingo was fucking dominant, and I can't use an LMG in this game with how fast the fucking game is and how just overall people tend to spawn on top of me. That's another thing that goes on with the community. People don't like the spawns, the maps in this game. The community in this platform has completely whined about the spawns being super random and the maps being just super like unpredictable. It promotes so much random, unskilled shit that it just overall becomes a clusterfuck of Type 2s and Hornets being sprayed all over the goddamn map. It doesn't promote a very good flow almost, because the maps are so... I will say that the maps in this game do give a lot of diversity to be able to flank your opponent. There is a lot of ways to be able to move around the map, to be able to get to certain areas faster, and move around the map overall just a lot better. But the problem with this game is, with the maps being so goddamn diverse, the spawns are overall just a fucking clusterfuck of, you know, they're spawning in your asshole. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, the thing with Black Ops 3, it promoted more people having to learn where the spawns were and how many people move to certain areas at a certain time. Like with Hunted, take Hunted for example in Black Ops 3. In Hunted, you could easily predict where the team were spawning. They didn't spawn on top of you most of the time, and it overall gave the player some time to breathe before, you know, going into his next gunfight, and that's good. It overall made people play really smart. It made people play really objective based almost. But with this game, it just promotes so much random events that it overall becomes a clusterfuck of people running in the middle and just trying to get as many kills as possible before they're dying. And of course, with the Type 2s, people are going to hide in corners and just overall spray. That doesn't help the game's case at all. People are not going to like that. No one likes that. Everyone's just going to go off and play Modern Warfare Remastered, where it's a little bit more slow paced, but overall no one's just going around spraying someone across the map with a goddamn Type 2 or spraying a Reaver and getting a fucking quad feed instantly. Modern Warfare Remastered is overall just beating this game by a long shot, simply because it's a better game. It has more flow, and people love it, you know. OGs love the game because it gives a good flow, and they played it, you know, all their childhoods, and it's just a good, like, flash from the past almost. But with these new players that are coming into the game, spending $80 for both Modern Warfare Remastered and Infinite Warfare, they're gonna go over to Modern Warfare Remastered, no doubt about that, because that game is overall just much better than Infinite Warfare. Unless, of course, they prefer to just sit in corners and spray the Type 2, then, you know, Infinite Warfare is their way to go. Spawns and the maps in this game just overall promote so much random shit. Optic Karma Stan, you guys know I'm a pro player who plays on the Optic team. He even said that the maps promote too much random shit. It just promotes too much random events for, like... I saw a scrim from Optic Scumpy. He's another pro player for the Optic team. He would be playing in games where he would just be spawning so far off the objective, and he'd be spawning behind people and on top of people, and we're not Optic Scumpies, okay? The community overall is just a team of puppet stompers. Everyone's playing the game just to play the game, but to play the game, you have to have some Optic fucking Scumpy reaction time, and that doesn't help the case with the community. It's not good for the community to have such a very professional, I don't want to say professional, but it overall promotes a very quick reaction time. Otherwise, you're not going to exceed in this game. But of course, that just makes the game more noob friendly, and I feel like that's okay. Obviously, you need to have a way for new players that come in and don't know a fucking thing about Call of Duty, or let alone this certain COD in general, to kind of understand the game and learn it more. But it helps them too much. It just overall becomes a clusterfuck. I don't want to say unskilled, like I'm trying to promote myself saying I'm the best in the world or anything. I'm not trying to say I'm a super skilled player. I'm just saying I've played Call of Duty long enough to see what works and what doesn't work. And what doesn't work is people constantly finding ways to abuse certain weapons, and no one likes that. No one's gonna like that at all. Of course, the community always looks down on those people who use certain weapons, like the Striker or Akimbo FMG9s back in Modern Warfare 3. If you guys remember that shit, that shit was overall just fucking broken as shit, and no one liked that. Everyone hated it. But with this game, it brings back that shit back into our lives, and that's God. I mean, again, other than that, people just tend to not like the jetpacks, and getting rid of the jetpacks is a super unrealistic kind of criticism. It doesn't help the games or the developers understand what is wrong with their game, because a lot of the times when people say what's wrong with our game, they say the jetpacks, get rid of the jetpacks, but they can't do that. It's 3 years of code that they just can't get rid of. It's impossible. They can't get rid of 3 years of code. They can help nerf it and make it so that it's more boots on the ground, but they overall just can't get rid of jetpacks in general. There isn't a way for them to just type jetpacks 0 and just have no jetpacks at all. It doesn't make sense for that to happen. With videos that are actually putting up actual criticism about the game, it actually helps developers listen to what we're saying for once. And of course, people are always going to be like, oh, they're not going to listen, they're not going to understand what we're saying. But if you give someone actual criticism, actual feedback, they will listen. Developers need to listen. They're always going to listen to the actual critics, the actual people that actually give a damn about the game, that are actually finding shit like this, like the spawns, the weapons, and everything being super unbalanced, being super random. They're going to fix that. They have to fix that. We paid for the game. They're going to listen one way or another. But of course, you need to give actual criticism and actual feedback about the game that's actually realistic, rather than just saying get rid of this gun, get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of this, get rid of that. It just, no, you need to give actual feedback. Like the spawns, they should just make it more less random, so that it's not spawning every single I've spawned literally in the middle of the map, and that's not good. You shouldn't be able to spawn in the middle of the map. There should be just two sides, one and the other. Alpha team should spawn here, Bravo team should spawn here. That's just the way it should be. Of course, they're gonna flip every now and then, but they should not need to spawn in the middle. They should be able to adjust the spawns to where the enemies on both sides, they should spawn them in a place where they can breathe, where they can relax, where they can give a few seconds before they get into their next gunfight. That helps noobs understand the game. That helps new players understand the flow. They're saying, oh shit, if I spawn and if I run here, I'm okay. I can breathe for a few seconds, and then I can run out here and get a few kills and then run again. And if I die, I just spawn here and I'm good. But with this game, it's just like you're gonna spawn behind someone and rape easily. No problem there. After you're dead and you respawn, you're gonna get into your next gunfight like that. There's just no doubt about it. You're gonna get into your next gunfight in half a fucking second. If they fix a lot of the shit in this game that's just makes this game super unplayable, and just the little kinks here and there that just make it inconvenient, like the servers being super out of whack, the sensitivity not making any goddamn sense, the weapons, obviously the weapons are going to be nerfed out later in the future. A lot of the weapons seem like they're going to get a nerf. I'm pretty sure the K-bar is going to get nerfed pretty soon. They should really focus on trying to buff SMGs to a little bit more damage and a little bit less recoil, or at least more fire rate, to the point where we can actually have a chance on challenging certain weapons. The thing I liked about Black Ops 3 was because certain SMGs and certain weapons outbalance everyone else. Like the ICR. The ICR could be outgunned by the VMP and the Kuda and the Razorback, but it could not, from range, it could not challenge. You could not challenge because the VMP does not handle long range. But with this game, it overall just states that ARs are going to dominate even from close to medium range, and that shouldn't make sense to me. Like, that's where SMG should completely change the map in general. If SMGs are close range, they should be able to dominate the AR player, but that's not the case. The K-bar is going to outgun me 9 out of 10 times. And of course, that's just because of the damage, but also because of the goddamn fire rate. They don't miss a goddamn shot. If they have decent enough accuracy, they're going to hit at 3 shots on me, and I'm going to die. Well, I have to put 4 or 5 in them. The maps and the spawns, I feel like, should be another one of the priorities that Infinity Ward should do to be able to focus on helping the game flow and, grow a little bit more. And the jetpacks, I don't know, the jetpacks, they are a little annoying to me at times, but I mean, I feel like it just doesn't, it's just an unrealistic thing to say, get rid of jetpacks, and they're going to get rid of jetpacks. That's not going to happen with the game. That's just unreasonable at this point. But anyways, that's gonna do it for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a like and a comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought of today's video. Let me know what you guys' comments or reviews were on Infinite Warfare. Maybe, what are your guys' problems with the games? Like overall, was it something that I discussed? Was it something that I didn't discuss? Maybe you guys have another issue that you guys have been running into. Who knows? You know, let's just understand. You know, let's just give some actual criticism about the game. That's just what I'm trying to get people to understand. That this game needs actual criticism, not just no jetpacks. I don't like jetpacks. Get rid of jetpacks. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Give them some actual feedback so that they can understand what to change and what to buff or what to nerf. But again, that's gonna do it for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, please hit that subscribe button. As always, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.